Hi everyone, my name is Ari Ziegler. I work for the OU in the Next Gen department. I work with gamification, which is a word that probably none of you have heard, which is fine. Um, anyway, as you can see, I am actually not in the office today. I am at home because my very, very kind boss has allowed me the luxury of not going out into this snow, and I thank you very much for it. They also asked me, while I'm home, I'm also going to be sharing with you a little bit about Parsha Ki Tisa and some of the interesting things that I think are found in the Parsha. So, here we go. What's interesting about this week's Parsha is that Moshe is absent from the people of Israel for about 40 days, and this seems to trigger a disastrous turn of events that results in the incident, the most infamous incident in Jewish history, which is the golden calf. And the question remains of why Moshe's absence is considered such a cataclysmic event in the evolving story of the constant and continuing backtracking of the Jewish people from their commitment at Har Sinai. And after all, every shepherd is allowed a couple of days vacation away from his flock. Why is Moshe almost blamed, or why does it seem that Moshe is to blame for the sin of the Jewish people in this instance? So the commentators in the Torah over the centuries have long debated this issue. Is the absence of Moshe directly or even indirectly connected to the greatest sin of the Jewish people near Har Sinai, which was the golden calf? Many saw it as a sign of immaturity on the Jewish people's part. They figured Moshe is our security blanket, and without him we can't do this. We're incapable of doing it on our own. Other people might have seen it as, oh, it's kind of like separation anxiety. The parent leaves the child at the first day of kindergarten, and the child believes the parent might never come back. Similarly, the people of Israel believed that Moshe, after being in heaven once, so to speak, being in heaven, he would not be able to readjust to earthly existence and would perhaps, they feared, never return. Now Moshe's not returning after being in heaven would likely have signaled to the people that Torah and God's commandments were heavenly otherworldly issues that could have really no relevance to their daily mortal lives here on earth. Now this is an idea that the Torah itself has constantly and continually sort of refuted, that the Torah is not for heaven. It wasn't given to angels. Rather, it was given to fragile, vulnerable, sort of sinful human beings. A couple of weeks ago, we said God doesn't want angels. He has enough of those. What he wants is Anshe Kodesh Tiuli. He wants us to be men striving for holiness. What's even more is that God is the one who told Moshe to come up to the mountain. And so how can he be blamed for his absence, or how could he be contributing in any way to their greatest sin if God is the one who told them to leave them? What's interesting is that if we look at it, Moshe wasn't really the direct cause of the Egel. He wasn't the direct cause of the golden calf. The people who were directly involved were Hur and Aaron. And what's interesting is that Hur, he was too strong with the people. He was too combative as a person in his confrontation with the people, and he was actually eventually killed because of it. Aaron, however, he was too accommodating, he was too compassionate. He understood the people, and in his compassion, in his goodness and identification with the people, ended up helping them and contributing to the sin of the Egel. When we look at Moshe, though, he was sort of the perfect blend of strength and compassion, right? The rabbis criticized once King Shaul, right, Shaul HaMelech, for being too strong on one occasion and too weak and compromising in another. What we see in Moshe is the perfect leader. A leader has to encompass within his personality, or her personality, both strength and compassion, firmness and the ability to compromise. The true greatness of the leader lies and is determined by his ability to be firm when it's necessary, but to be accommodating and relatively lenient when the occasion arises. If Moshe was running a company and there was a lot of snow on the ground, he would be a little bit lenient, because that's an example of a time when leniency is necessary, when accommodation is necessary. However, if it was just flurries outside, I'd be in big trouble right now. And Moshe is the prime example of such leadership qualities. He fights a civil war against the architects of the golden calf, against the people who did the sin, and at the same time he's pleading for God, offering to have his name erased from the Torah, so that the Jewish people can be forgiven. And so it's the absence of this balance, it's the absence of such a perfectly balanced personality which can destroy the leader of a people. Now, it's not just being a leader, obviously. Being a leader is great, but we can take a lot from this. Like I said, the Torah is not meant for malachim, it's not meant for angels, it's meant for imperfect people who are striving for ideals. And every character in the Torah, including Moshe, is an ideal for us to strive towards. What ideal is Moshe showing us here in Parsha Ki Tisa? What are we learning from the fact that he was the balanced leader whose absence could have led to the most infamous sin in the Jewish people's history? We're learning that in our own dealings, there are times to be firm, there are times to be compassionate. And to truly, truly serve God in the world and to live healthy, fulfilling lives, we need to recognize these times and act accordingly. That, I think, is the greatest message in Parsha Ki Tisa. Stay warm, be safe, and as always, Shabbat Shalom.